Welcome to the Deep Purple Mark III Essentials video. In this Essential series, I look at each of the lineups with at least 2 albums and select the 5 songs that I like most. David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes replaced Ian Gillan and Roger Glover in 1973, and Deep Purple went a little funky. So this is one of the lineups that divides fans, but I think these 5 tracks prove that Mark III had something unique going on. Mark III was together from 1973 to 1975, before Ritchie Blackmore departed to form Rainbow. Why were fans divided? Because they moved away from the hard rock, and proggy elements of Mark II into funk, soul, and R&B influences. What makes this era worth understanding? Well, the dual lead vocal approach is unique for the band. And Hughes brought bass playing that was a little more melodic and prominent, and the band explored groove-based rock that influenced later hard rock and metal bands. This lineup showed Purple could evolve without losing its edge. And so here are the albums. Burn from 1974. This is February 1974. Stormbringer, which was released in November 1974. And by April 1975, Ritchie Blackmore had left. And during his final tour, they recorded some shows, and a compilation was released in 1976, Made in Europe, a live album. So I'm not going to include songs or performances from this in the Essentials video, simply because this album was released after Deep Purple broke up entirely, and it didn't impact what they did after it, because there was no after it. So the songs that I will be looking at will come directly from the 2 studio albums. So the first song you have to go with is the title track from Burn. And it just proved that Mark III could still bring the heavy while adding new textures. And I mean, really, the drums and the dual vocals sort of set the template for this lineup. The second song I would choose would be the title track from Stormbringer. The funk influence has been fully embraced by this time in the band, and so it was sort of a hard rock, showing a bit of groove, and the band's willingness to experiment. Going back to Burn, for the third selection, I have to go with Mistreated. It's perhaps David Coverdale's finest moment with the band, and Blackmore's emotional guitar work throughout the slow burn solo at the end is among his best playing. For track number 4, have to go with off of Stormbringer, Soldier of Fortune. Now this is Blackmore's final ballad with Purple until the reunion, and it showed some delicate playing, tasteful, and just further proof that the band could play with dynamics, and it wasn't always just full-out hard rock. And finally, the 5th essential track that I would pick and recommend to people is You Fool No One from Burn. It's just some raw, extended jamming, showcasing the band's ability to basically just cook. And I find, I don't know if it's just me, but this one has always reminded me a little bit of Procol Harum's Whiskey Train. So those are my 5 essential Mark III tracks. Do you agree? Disagree? What are your favorites? Put them in the comments below. That concludes the Deep Purple Mark III Essentials video. The next one I'll be working on is Mark VII. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit. It will be Steve Morse and Don Airey, starting with Bananas through to Whoosh. So start thinking now, which 5 Mark VII tracks would you choose? Have a great day.